Eamon, you've had a chance to review and reflect on that good performance against Toulouse. There was a lot of effort on display from the boys.
Yeah, there was. I can't question their effort. They're, they give it in bucket loads. I mentioned after the game, they're a team that cares. That they're really turning up for each other at the minute, which is, it's really pleasing. So the big test for us is to continue that, and also we've got bits we need to be better at as well. So look, on the whole, obviously, really happy to get the result, and we move on now.
3 wins on the bounce. Can you feel that momentum building and rubbing off on everyone?
I don't know momentum, just more that connection again. I feel like I mention it a lot, but it's certainly helping us at the minute. It's no secret we've had disruption this year with injuries. We still have. Obviously, we're coming through the other side of that now, but I think we've still got 6 probably key members of the squad missing. I think it's 6. But it just shows you how important a squad is throughout your season, and everyone's certainly playing their part, and even more so the non-players at the minute. Our preparation at the minute has been key to us in terms of our performance, and everyone is playing their part in it. Everyone is really playing their part in it, so we're really lucky. It's not just the 17 that are going out there at the minute. Everyone is doing their bit to help the team, and that's a really pleasing thing for me when I see everyone's attention in training and the standards that they're driving. Yeah, the blokes in 17 are doing really well, but the lads on the other side who are helping us prepare are really key for us at the minute.
You clearly still feel that at times the side is putting itself under too much pressure defensively. How have you approached that issue with the team this week?
Just reinforcing it through footage. They're aware, they know we're shooting ourselves in the foot a fair bit. And it will hurt us at some point. I shown scenes after the game where we were all celebrating, and I just said I feel like a bit of that is happiness, but there's an element in there that's relief, and the game didn't have to go that way. So it's just important that we keep reinforcing it. I mentioned before, the lads are really honest and open in our reviews. They're good to be in. Everyone holds themselves accountable. It's really good. We always make sure we look at the positive things, but really important that we notice that, because as the season goes on, that's going to get harder and harder to do, and we don't want to put ourselves under that much pressure.
One thing that's been evident is the sort of newfound maturity and mental resolve of the side. Was that already in place, or is that something that you've helped to create, improve upon?
I'm not sure, because that was before I got here, so I can't really comment on that. The only thing I try and do is just lead by example within the group, and the staff are the same. They do that. So we have our standards that and our non-negotiables, and we drive them every single day. We have done since pre-season. I just believe what's happening on the field is it's contributed by our practices and how we're performing on the training field every week. They're not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. They're not, but we're working hard, and more importantly, trying to get better. And everyone else is trying to help everyone else around them get better. So, in terms of the mental resolve, I'm not sure. I just think that's the game that we're in at the minute. We play rugby. You have to have an element of toughness about you, and you have to understand that the opposition are going to get a say in the game. It's just how you handle those periods of pressure, and touch wood, at the minute we're doing okay when it comes to that, but again we're doing far too much of it.
Michael Lawrence is currently out injured. Jordan Lillard's been the sort of de facto captain out there on the field. How important has Jordan's leadership been during the past couple of games?
Yeah, really important, but helped by others around him, like what I referenced before. I think Dan Smith, real calming influence on the group, does his bit, very experienced, knows what needs to be done, and he's helping Jordan. Jordan's also helping others around him. I think JD's been in there. We're lucky, we've got some lads with great experience, and they're all helping each other, but we are missing Bruno, so it'll be nice to welcome him back in a couple of weeks.
Is that his sort of return 2 weeks?
Yeah, we're hoping so. He's responding really well to treatment and rehab. We had some good news when we got some imaging of his injury, so yeah, we won't push him, but he's chomping at the bit to get back out there, as you can imagine, so he'll be a welcomed addition.
After that game against Toulouse on Saturday, Connor Carr obviously left the field. What's the latest with him? Yeah,
unfortunately he rolled his ankle. It looked nasty watching it back, so he's gone back to Huddersfield. It's looking like he's going to be out for a period, which is a shame. We haven't got a time frame on that at the minute, but we're hoping to get one tonight. So I'm sure Huddersfield, when they get the right prognosis, they'll let us know, and then they'll get something out there on Connor. But a real shame. Great lad, really adapted moving from Huddersfield to come to this group, and did really well. The lads really like him, so hopefully we'll see him back at some point.
And obviously, Jaden Myers, what's the latest with him?
Yeah, we just have to be calm with Jaden at the minute. He's feeling really positive, which is good. So I'm hopeful that he'll start some running next week and he won't be too far off. But just tricky one with those types of injuries, the ankles. You know, you have to go on how you kind of perform during the week with your rehab and how you react to certain things, and he's heading in the right direction.
George Flanagan and Ben Blackmore played for Rochdale on Sunday against Newcastle. I believe you were at that game. Thoughts on how they went?
Yeah, really good, really good. Competed hard. I just loved their attitude when they went. You know, I was speaking to Gary Thornton afterwards, and he just said the way they've been around the group, really good. Turned up with a great attitude, and I think that's really important. We expect that when we bring in people from loan, and we've certainly had that. The lads have been brilliant. But we want to make sure that when lads do go to other clubs on loan for a period, that they represent themselves and the club in the right way, and they certainly did that. So it was good to see them go out there and get a run. They were both desperate to play, so they managed to go and get some game time.
Ben Blackmore scored 3 tries in that first half. With Connor Carr and Jaden Myers not available, does he come into contention for the trip to York?
Yeah, he will be. He will be. I think the importance of that game at Rochdale was more for him than anything, to make sure that he felt he was right, and he performed really well. Looks as strong as what he's ever looked, so I think the injuries obviously worked really hard to get that right, but he's worked hard on himself as well, so he looked really good in that game. So yeah, he's in contention this week.
York Knights away at the weekend. It's another tough fixture. How do you approach this game against opposition who are doing it real tough at this particular moment in time and will clearly be licking their wounds, looking for a response after a heavy home defeat to Wakefield?
Yeah, they'll be desperate. They'll be desperate, and we have to make sure that we're obviously aware of that, but we don't focus too hard on it, and we focus on ourselves. I think, we've only had one training session this week. We'll train again tonight and tomorrow, but their effort and their application in training on Tuesday was really good. So we need to make sure that we build and we take that into the game at weekend. They're a dangerous team, and I think they'll be targeting this one to kind of get their season going, but we need to make sure that we're focusing on the good things that we've been doing over the last 3 games and also not putting ourselves under pressure, because they're a quality team and they'll win games this year. I think where they're at the minute isn't a reflection of where they'll finish this year, so we understand that we've won 3 on the bounce before, and then when we got to our 4th, we didn't turn up and we got turned over from Widnes. So we understand the importance of this game, not just for the result, but for us as a group to see where we're at.
Obviously, York are going through a lot of adversity with injuries and suspensions. The fact that they've not won a game, does that make them more dangerous, Eamon, to you?
Yeah, I think so, because they're still playing well. Obviously, the result at weekend against Wakefield, that wouldn't surprise people with what they're going through and the quality Wakefield have. But a couple of the games that they've played in, they've been really competitive. The Barrow game was highly competitive. That was a real solid match, and they just ended up being on the wrong side of that. I thought they started the game against York exceptionally well. Against Wakefield really well. Put them under pressure and had a big say in that game. So we're not fooled by where they're sat at the minute. We know the quality that they've got in their side, and also that dangerous aspect of them wanting to go and perform and get the first win of the year.
A lot of people will look at the form, but Bradford 3 from 4, they've got the momentum, York not from 4, and might or may not expect a Bradford win. How are you managing and maintaining that focus on the players, not letting the C word, complacency, creep in?
Well, I think that's been the case since we won at Halifax. So nothing changes in that respect. We keep driving standards, we keep working hard. The lads know that if we see any sort of complacency in training, there's people coming back into the squad now, and they're all desperate for a place in the team. So that's one good thing. I mentioned before, everyone's driving standards in training, and it's important we continue to do so. I think if we probably had an element of the same conversation after Halifax, and then the same after Featherstone. It's just making sure our attitude is right and we understand what we want to go and do, and we go and do it to the best of our ability.
A lot of your predecessors, Mark Dunn and John Keary, who've sat in the Bradford Bulls head coach's chair, been in a similar position, a good run of games, and then a poor performance just materialises out of nowhere. Do you feel that the Bradford fans will be looking at this game against York even closer under the microscope than perhaps some of the others?
Potentially, and you know, if we're successful at weekend, it'll be the same the week after. Like I said, I can't focus too much on what happened before I came here. We know as a group the importance of this game for us, and that's taking York's situation out of it. You know, we want to perform the best we can. We don't want to be a complacent team, but what we also have to understand is that the opposition is going to have a say in the game. How much of a say will be down to us. So we've got things that we've highlighted through our probably last 2-3 performances where we know if we continue to do those things, teams will get us and it'll burn us. So that's down to us, that's down to our attitude. I'm really excited for this week just to see how the group do respond, and if we can keep our feet firmly on the ground. And all the indications are there that they're doing that. They're a humble group, they're working extremely hard, as I've mentioned. So we're putting ourselves in a decent position to go out there and perform at weekend, but we need to make sure our attitude is right, and I'm confident that will be the case.
What's the rest of the team news looking like? Is there anybody else back from injury? I know when we spoke last week, Jordan Baldwinson's always kind of highlighted this game or next week's game against Widnes as his return, or is it still too soon for Jordan?
No, Jordan's doing well. He's training with the group now, so we have a reserve game this weekend, but we're not going to play him in that just for the logistics. It's away at London, so that's a positive really, because it gives him another couple of weeks. We'll look to play him in the Huddersfield game, and then once he kind of gets that one done, we'll manage him, see where he's at, and then he should be in contention to play, which is really positive.
How close or far is Lee Gaskell following on from the hamstring tear in round 1?
Yeah, he's progressing well, but he'll still be a few weeks. We haven't targeted a game for him yet. Where he got the tear is really close to the tendon, so we have to make sure that he's fully fit to do that. I think he's started doing some low level running now, so he shouldn't be too far off.
When I spoke to John Davis after the game, he kind of like highlighted with him having moved from the back row into the halves, it's had to be sort of like a simplified Bradford Bulls attacking performance, but I think we saw, certainly with Zach Fulton's try, there was certainly some eye-catching points on the board Saturday gone.
Yeah, I want the team to play and move the ball when we've earned the right. You know, we're probably not doing as much as I would like to, but that's just shows the element of smarts that the group have got. We've had to simplify it, you know, with the changes and putting JD in there. He's a real capable player, as you know, he's backing up in his performances. Everyone can see that, but we had to be smart in what we do and probably not play it over expansive too early. But I still think that the lads are moving the ball at the right time and challenging defences, which is good, and playing some nice rugby as well.
And just finally, obviously Danakoro went to Warrington, no secret, you've got a bit of a transfer kitty. In terms of recruitment moving forward, what does that look like? Have you identified any players? Are the club close to signing anyone?
It's ongoing, we're not close. We're looking at a few players overseas. And again, those they just have to be done at the right time. They're not quick ones there. So, you know, I think it's nice to know that we've got some bodies coming back, and we want to add to that, but they have to be the right people. So nothing changes in that respect. We're looking over here as well, but again, this time of the year it's sometimes difficult to bring in people, but we're ready to go when the right person comes up.
I'm kind of guessing when you say overseas, that'll excite the fans if they're thinking, well, we've had Mitch Suter, Zach Fulton, two kind of relatively unknowns come over, and you know the way they've been performing.
Yeah, I hope so. One thing I can guarantee is that we'll bring the right people in. We won't rush to do it. You know, it took us some time to bring Mitch over. Same with Zach and Tyron as well. We didn't just rush at it. So we want to make sure that we're the right fit for the player as well as them being the right fit for us as well. So look, I'm not saying we'll go and get anyone over there, but you know, there's some big challenges with bringing in people from overseas. So we understand that it's important that the right one who, you know, they come in wanting to stamp their mark and play like Zach and the other two lads we mentioned are doing. So yeah, it's ongoing. We'll continue to look, and you know, I'm confident that we'll strengthen throughout the year.